really great to be here today with Alex and Alan, community activist, muralist. I'm not sure how you describe yourself nowadays, but we're really excited to have you on the podcast. This is season 3 of Rooted and Reaching, where we interview entrepreneurs and innovators in the community and in the region. So thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me. Yeah.
Well, how do you describe yourself? Like, if you had a title, do you have a title? Do you give yourself?
I would say I'm a muralist. Creative, full-time creative, curator. So I do dabble in a few different directions, but full-time muralist would be.
Full-time muralist. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And certainly anybody who has spent time in the South Bend area, the South Bend Elkhart area, has seen your work. You can't miss it at this point. Mm-hmm. Because I think you said earlier you've been doing this for 7 years. 7 years
full-time. Yeah.
7 years full-time.
May 1st.
So you've really started to have an impact because you drive around town and you're like, oh, yep, there's one, there's one, there's one. And I know you've brought other murals to town, which we'll talk about a little bit later.
Yeah.
But tell us, like, how did you get started? You've been interested in art your whole life?
Yes. So I'm 32 now. I would say I kind of fell in love with painting. Maybe around 10 years old. But I didn't start taking it seriously until I was about 25. My early 20s, I worked a handful of jobs. I felt like I was running away from my passion, and then you get to like a certain point when you realize, okay, it's either now or never. We have one life, so
right.
I'm a realist, so I wanted to figure out how is this feasible to be full time. I would like in my notebooks journal budgets. Okay, if I do this month, and so my goal was to save up a pocket of money, maybe hopefully up to 6 months, to feel secure.
Got it. Yeah.
So that's what I did. I worked in factories, installed windows, attempted electrical. Was not the best, but in the factories.
Sure.
But so
it sounds like you were aware that you were not moving closer to your dream or your passion as you were doing these jobs, and then you made a plan to say, okay, I want to make sure I don't drift too far from where my passion is. And you planned for it, which is really great.
I'm a big planner. So so that the day I left to, I think I was sleep deprived. We had to go in at 4 a.m. and the drive was 45 minutes. So I felt myself almost wanting to fall asleep, and I just snapped. I went to the bathroom, looked at my bank account.
Yeah.
I quit that day. I've never done that before, but I was crying. I was like, I can't do this anymore. I left. And on the way home, it was springtime, May 1st, windows down.
Yeah.
Ironically, there was a podcast about just creatives, and I slept really good for 2 days, and then I just kind of slowly started to figure it out.
So what did that look like, figure it out? I mean, was that like finding a client, finding a job, did you know you wanted to do murals at that point, or were you thinking about other creative endeavors?
Ironically, when I quit, I actually was not thinking about murals. I was doing canvas work, on the weekends, just for clients, commission work.
Yep.
So that was my goal. But then someone referred me to a project with J2 Marketing.
Oh, yeah.
So where Manny's is right now.
Manny's is now, and now they're downtown, right? Yep.
Yeah. So that summer, I was figuring things out, and I realized it's probably, at least for my situation, it wasn't feasible to survive off campuses.
Yeah.
And a lot of people are able to, but for me, it was not. So anyway, that was it for me. That was the light at the end of the tunnel for murals.
During that mural. So had you ever done a mural before, or was that the first one?
No. And it was the longest. I think it took me 8 or 9 days. And I could probably do that in 2 now. But it was the best 8 or 9 days. I was tired. I wanted to give up, but I fell in love with it.
So that probably is the first one I saw as well, because my kids were going to St. Joe grade school at the time.
Yeah.
And so I would have been driving past that building all the time.
Yeah, maybe that's where kind of
it might have been.
Joined.
Yeah. So how did you learn to do a mural? I mean, it seems like a big jump to go from a canvas to the entire side of a building.
Yeah, so I think going into it, I never painted a mural. I think it goes into you figure out how to do it as you're doing it. So I think I just had to walk into it with guts and just, just know that it's going to work out. But along the way, there's like certain things that I that helped me trace the image on the wall. So for instance, I use like the bricks on that building to kind of sketch out my design at the time.
Yeah.
So kind of like that.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm imagining you, since you're a researcher, you're watching YouTube videos,
Yeah,
or
yeah.
like, did you have a mentor at the time who
Um,
could guide the process a little bit, or you
no.
just sort of made it happen?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you wish you had a mentor when you look back on it?
Yes. Yes. I would be asking a million questions. I'm sure there are some lessons I probably could have learned faster if I did have a mentor at the
Yeah.
time.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. I can imagine that. I mean, I think for any entrepreneur, having like an industry specific mentor can be so impactful.
yeah.
And I imagine that you're now a mentor yourself to other artists. But you can tell me more about that
Yeah,
maybe
yeah.
later. Let's talk about the art itself a little bit.
Mhm.
My first impression when I started seeing your work pop up around town was very geometric.
Mhm.
And I think you're still very geometric in your work. Was that something you brought from the canvas to the wall? Or was that something that you did when you started doing murals specifically because did it lend itself better to the large format?
Yeah, a little bit. I used to do a lot of ink drawings too.
Okay.
So the ink drawings were kind of inspiration to that led me into the geometric world.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. But since then, it seems like you've branched out a little bit more in the mural work with more floral designs, and I know you just did a beautiful bird upstairs.
Yeah. So
Was that an evolution, or like what happened there?
a little bit of both. I think it's for one, being a full-time creative, it's important to adapt to different styles, like working with clients with helping them solve their needs, and each need is different. So
Yeah.
some artists, they might just stick to that one style. Sometimes I kind of envy that, but then when I'm kind of forced to work in different directions, I learn and grow a lot, and also kind of fall in love with the new style. So I will say on top of that too, going from like geometrics to flowers to portraits or birds,
Yeah.
I never get bored. So I think there's like I go through maybe a few months. If I did a few months of geometrics, I'll get a little bored.
Right,
I
right,
need to
right.
switch
So
it
you just
up.
spice it up a little bit
Yeah,
there.
throw a little
Yeah.
spice in.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah.
That makes me think, like, how do you work with your clients? So you sit down
hmm
and you did one at Jiffy Lube,
Yeah, yeah.
which seems like a kind of a big corporate client. Like, how did you sit down with the owners there and decide what to do?
So the project manager, I didn't I might have had one Zoom with the owner of Jiffy
Okay.
Lube. But for that particular mural, it was this huge project with the Indie Arts Council.
Okay.
So multiple Jiffy Lubes across Indiana were part
Oh,
of this initiative to
I didn't
add
know that.
art. Yeah.
Okay.
So but for that certain mural, they wanted to give the artist creative freedom.
Okay.
So that's like
So you brought your vision.
magic
You
too.
brought your vision to it.
Yeah, yeah.
Can you tell us? You don't have to name names. Can you tell us about a time when it was a little bit more challenging to find common ground around a design concept?
I think there's a lot of factors that play with trying to make sure the client's needs are met, but also you have to kind of make sure it's aligned with not only the budget, but also your style too.
Yeah.
So, am I able to execute this confidently? So,
Right.
I think it's a lot of back and forth until you come to that common
Yeah.
ground.
Yeah.
So,
I suppose at this point your portfolio is robust enough that if people are going to hire you, they know roughly what to expect. Like
yeah.
you're not going to do something that's wildly outside of that range of work, probably. Like, so they're hiring you
hmm
because of what you do and because of the passion and the skills that you're bringing to it. I mean, so the financial side of things, I'm
hmm
curious about, right?
Yeah.
So you started this. It was almost just some good fortune that you fell into this job and you were able to do the first one.
Yeah.
How have you evolved understanding working with the client and like how much to charge them as you do
Yeah.
these projects? 'Cause I imagine you probably were like underselling yourself early
hmm
on, and you've probably gotten better at charging what you're worth at this point.
Yeah. I think, and I get that question a lot, like, how do you charge,
Yeah.
especially with muralists that are kind of just stepping into
Yeah.
it?
Yeah.
I would say, you know, the biggest thing is to get a mural, you kind of have to have in most cases, a bit of a portfolio, like,
Yeah.
or some type of visual. But when it comes to charging, I think every year, maybe year 1 through 3, you have a certain number of murals under your belt. So you keep that to like a number by maybe square footage. I personally do square footage.
Yeah.
Every artist is a little different,
Yeah.
and maybe as you add to your portfolio, you kind of um, up the,
Sure.
once the quality is up, then you can up your
Right.
prices. And
Right.
I'd say too, like when I was first starting out, I was doing a lot of murals for free, and just I was eager and just
Yeah. Establishing yourself and yeah.
yes, I would do it for free because I loved it, which I don't recommend now. But
Sure.
yeah,
Yeah. Yeah, that can create a weird dynamic too. You give way too much for free, and then
yeah,
it can almost have the perverse effect of devaluing the work on some level, right? Which
yeah.
can be risky. Yeah,
Hmm.
I'm sympathetic. I'm an architect, and
Hmm.
so I also have bid out projects by square footage. It's
Hmm.
different kind of, but it can be pretty challenging sometimes to come up with an accurate number.
Yes, I do. I also something that I adopted with my charging is the last few years having a minimum, and so that
Yeah,
kind of when a client approaches you, you can say, "This is what my minimum rate is," and that just secures my schedule, my time, and
yeah,
make sure everything's covered.
yeah,
And then the right clients will stay, and then
yeah,
less of headache. So,
yeah. No, it makes perfect sense. Makes
hmm,
perfect sense. How does discipline play into all of this for you? Because I
yeah,
think you've mentioned other things like you have to bring a lot of discipline to the work.
hmm.
Has that always been with you, or has that evolved over?
I would say so. I played a lot of sports growing up too, so I
Good.
think I maybe some of that discipline. That's
Yeah,
maybe where I kind of
yeah,
that adapted to that. But being an entrepreneur, being full time self employed, even if it's a weekend hobby, you have to um, keep a schedule, and so I mean that's kind of how I maintain. So,
yeah. No, that makes sense, and the sports reference does make sense. I
hmm,
mean, I've heard that before from other entrepreneurs actually, that like getting the discipline down when they played, kid softball or something
yeah,
actually makes a difference in their life today, which
hmm,
is kind of cool to think about. The freedom of being your own boss, like
yes,
that's got to be pretty fantastic, and that is a lot of times what if you talk to an entrepreneur, very high in their mind was like, I didn't want to listen to somebody else. I didn't want to follow somebody else's schedule. I wanted to do
yeah.
my own thing. Is that the same for you? Do you?
Yes, I would say so, but at least for me too, like you still have to stick to your schedule, even though you're
Yeah,
making your own.
yeah,
Yeah, you still stick to that 9 to 5 when you're on site, but I would not have it any other way. I love it just being able to make your own decisions and create the future for
yeah,
yourself. Yeah.
yeah. It's a fantastic freedom to have.
Hmm.
But like you say, it can't happen without discipline, right? Because
Yeah.
otherwise, then you wouldn't
Takes
be
a lot
able
of
to keep doing it.
sacrifice.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
And I don't it's not for the weak.
yeah,
But I think that's the best part I love about it is I think I'm mentally growing with each project, each
yeah,
client, and I love, like, what it teaches me, what it instills in me, so,
yeah. What have you had to sacrifice to do this work?
a lot of I mean, your time, I think just when you go to paint a mural, it's not just on the wall, it's months of preparation before, and not a lot of people see that, so I would say time, sacrificing that,
Yeah.
so mhm.
Like, what is the ratio of pre-work to work? Is it like 3 times more work
Yeah,
up front or 4 times more work before we actually see you standing in front of the
yes.
wall?
It is sometimes it could be 70% prep.
Wow.
Yeah. But when people ask me that and my answer will always be like those months of preparation um when once you get to that wall, everything it just reminds you of why you're here.
Yeah.
And nothing will beat that feeling. So,
Yeah. Yeah, you do make it look easy, I have to say. I had the pleasure of watching you do the Momentum, mural upstairs, at least a
yeah.
little bit, and you make it look so easy and so fun, and I would say it was obvious you enjoy doing it too, it's wonderful to see somebody doing something they love to do.
Mhm. Yeah.
So, but yeah, we didn't see the prep work that went into that. We
Yeah, the
just saw
prep
you
work.
there
Yeah.
happy and you got that thing up on the wall and it looks fantastic.
Yeah. I think there's, like, a lot of, small techniques muralists kind of learn along the way.
Mhm.
I listen to, a lot of artist podcasts too, where the artists don't gatekeep. They share certain tools or tricks that they use, and once you really, take all those in and practice them, it makes the job much more efficient. So
yeah. I was curious about that. So you're spending sometimes hours and hours out in the hot sun, up on a scaffolding or up on a lift or standing. You have your headphones in, I'm assuming, most of the time.
Sometimes, yeah.
Not
I
all the
think it's
time?
important to maybe one in, one out,
Got it.
kind of look at your surroundings too.
Sure,
So
sure. Are you a podcaster? Are you an audiobook person? Are you listening to music?
yeah, a little bit of both.
Okay.
Sometimes you can only go a certain amount with 5 hours of straight music, so
Yeah.
then you switch it up. So
Yeah. I'm always curious about that, folks who spend a lot of time
yeah,
focusing, but, they have the ability to listen to something while they're up there.
yeah.
Yeah.
I've heard a few. I was listening to a podcast how a muralist, some muralists like sci-fi or like horror, like crime podcasts while they're working. I'm like, I don't think I could do that.
Yeah.
But
I would find it hard to focus on a podcast and the work at the same time, although maybe you get so good at it, it becomes like you don't have to think super actively about it at every
yeah,
moment because you've done so much of the pre-work.
yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe it depends on the level of detail where you're at in the piece. If it's
of
more
course.
fast paced, it's nice to listen to something like that.
Right. I don't know when this was, when you actually had your work in the South Bend Museum of Art.
Yeah.
So how did that feel for you? Because here you were doing murals, and now you're in an art museum, and you were
Yeah.
highlighted and celebrated. Did that feel like a watershed moment for you? Did you feel like you had crossed some kind of threshold?
Yeah, I mean, definitely to be me and I think it was 4 other muralists
Yeah.
to have that opportunity. It made you feel really great, and then also just knowing the amount of people that would come in and see it. It was a little bittersweet because it was temporary, so I've never had to really paint over a mural so quickly. But in that sense, that taught me a lot too. So
Yeah. So that's a question I don't have it on my list here, but I was curious about that.
Mhm.
Murals are sort of by their nature pretty temporary.
yes.
Even some of your earlier ones have already been painted over.
hmm
And then of course you did, I think, I don't know, famously, but you did the one of Skylar Diggins
Yeah.
on the King Center, which was only up for a few weeks, I think.
Yes, they
right?
tore it right down. Yeah.
Before the building was torn down. So of
Mhm.
course that makes a person think of like Banksy or something like that.
Mhm.
Like, what is your relationship to like that transitory nature of a mural?
Um, just going into it, knowing that sometimes not everything is forever. It's that murals are temporary. Some can last 15, 20 years. Indoor murals much longer,
Right,
but
right.
outdoor murals. So I guess just that's a good question. I gotta noodle on that.
No problem. I mean, buildings themselves are transitory, right? There are
Yeah.
very few buildings that last hundreds of years,
Mhm.
right? It's even in a big city like New York, if you go back 150 years, most of those buildings are gone and they've been replaced with newer buildings along
Yeah.
the way. And I guess your work kind of goes hand in hand with
Mhm.
the built environment in that sense.
Yeah. I do like seeing. Have you ever or like there's a ton in South Bend, like the old sign murals that are slowly faded after 50 years.
Yes, advertisements and
Yeah.
things. Yep.
And when I drive by, I have a feeling of the past when I'm driving
Yeah.
by, kind of connected to that
Yeah.
history.
Yeah. Which was the one? Something came down, like a building or some scaffolding came down, and then you could see the old advertisement that was up on the building,
hmm
and it had been hidden for many years. And it did. It felt like, oh, I've stepped back in the past all of a sudden here. I've got this connection now with 1937 or something like that
Yeah.
when that mural was put up on the wall.
I love them.
Yeah, that's super cool. I'm assuming that the paint we use today is a lot better than the paint that they used in 1937.
Yeah.
Is
I
it
would.
more durable, better color?
Yeah, I don't have too much knowledge on that specific paint, but I
Yeah.
think we've come a long way with color vibrancy and
Yeah.
just the longevity of the qualities of paint, and also the clear coats that go on top of them.
Right.
So I think, yeah, we're definitely advancing in that
Yeah.
area.
So I imagine your murals will last longer and stay
Mhm.
brighter
Yeah.
than they would have, 50 years ago or
Yeah.
something like that. Yeah.
As long as the wall's in good condition too. So
Yeah.
lots of factors, but
yeah, no, that's a good point, right? If the brick is spalding or something like that, it's going to damage the mural.
Yeah.
Social media has been a big part of your success as well, I think, right? You've been able to really leverage that and use that to establish, what do we say, your brand, your story. Were you good at that from the beginning, or is that a skill you also had to develop alongside of?
I wouldn't say I was good, but I think when your job is exciting and you enjoy it and the process, I kind of fell in love with like Reels, for example, like sharing that process, because it's kind of like like a little bit of a diary. And so when I was done with the piece, or when I am done with the piece, after some time, I really enjoy like sitting down and picking some of my favorite memories from the mural, and then just put it in. I use Splice, the app.
Okay.
So, and I noticed like people were engaging more because you get to kind of open the door to, they don't just see the final product.
Right.
So that's something I started to really enjoy.
Yep.
And I think the more you post, sometimes quality is more important than quantity, I think. But, the more you put yourself out there, the more clients will see.
Well, and you have an interesting story too, and you're clearly passionate about what you do, and people are attracted to passion, I think.
Yeah.
And like you say, it's interesting, the process piece of it. It's one thing to see a mural on the wall. It's another thing to see that mural going up on the wall.
Yeah.
And I think people are inherently interested in that kind of stuff. I was walking a factory floor yesterday morning, and it's just super fascinating to see what goes into the production of an item.
Yeah.
Because all we do is receive the finished product usually, and it's really interesting to see all the energy and creativity that goes into the production.
Yep. Labor of love.
Yeah. You have done some really cool community things as you've developed and matured as an artist, and one of them is Mural Mania. Can you tell us where did Mural Mania come from?
About 5 years ago. This summer will be year 5 for us, so that's super excited for that. But going back to the beginning, 2021, and I've mentioned this a few times, but I actually had no intention of doing more than one summer of Mural Mania.
Okay.
But that's, and you fall in love and you just keep going. So
well, and everybody loved it too. So
and just to see the community come together, it's amazing. So the summer after I quit my job, I was asked by a curator in Rensselaer to join a mural festival.
Oh, cool.
And that week, being surrounded, I was a participating artist, and it leaves me speechless. Just that week transformed just the whole meaning of what I do and why I do it. And it gave me so much inspiration.
Because of meeting all the other muralists and seeing their work. And
you kind of felt seen. You felt like, oh, you're like you're like me. Like, let's. And so I wanted to bring that to South Bend. And the curator said, Cameron Moberg, he said, if you do this, I'll give you advice. I got your back. And so here we are now.
Super cool. Remind the audience, what is Mural Mania? How does it work?
Yeah, so Mural Mania is a festival that I created 5 years ago.
Yeah.
If you follow murals on social media, there's hundreds in the U.S., probably more than hundreds, in the U.S., around the world.
Yeah.
Every mural festival is ran a little bit differently, so it's kind of just tailored to the people organizing it.
Yeah.
But so Mural Mania, we bring in between 5 to 8 muralists from outside of South Bend, world-renowned artists that come in to bring a little love to the city.
And every one of those 5 artists does a mural somewhere in the city.
Yes.
As part of the celebration.
Yeah. To date, I think we're at either 27 or 28 murals.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah. How did it feel to become a curator yourself?
It kind of just, like I said, I really wasn't expecting it. I didn't really realize what the role I was taking on. But that it is a curator. You organize, you plan.
I'm just kind of curious. You're an artist yourself, and you yourself have had your work curated, but now you're also stepping into the role of curator.
It's kind of like stepping behind the scenes
Yeah.
as a muralist. So being there to not just curator, but to project managing and being there on site with the
Yeah.
muralists need help. But this role has taught me a lot, just like the behind the scenes that go into
Yeah.
the mural
Yeah. No,
making.
I
So,
imagine, right? There's this
yeah.
whole like back of house operation that has to happen to
Yes.
make it work, right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. And what is the new festival you're working on?
Yeah, so I am, this is probably the only I'm gonna stick to South Bend, but I had the opportunity to, do a festival in LaPorte, Indiana, just
Oh,
like
yeah.
40 minutes from here.
Yep.
Um, so I've worked with, an amazing client. Her name's Janet from, she's the director of Lebesnick Center for the Arts,
Okay.
and she's been wanting to she's seen Mural Mania, and she kinda wants a little bit of that in LaPorte.
Got it.
And so, she came to me with the full budget and said, "It's gonna be a mini fest for artists. You wanna help me?" I said, "Absolutely." Like, that's, especially LaPorte being a small town too,
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
think yeah, I'm really excited for the community to kinda receive this color and
Yeah. That's great. So you're serving as curator there again to some degree, like helping them
yeah, like
organize it, help them bring your vision, and
yes,
yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
co-project manager, with my client Janet, so
Yeah. 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 Oh, that's
mhm.
exciting. That's
Yeah.
exciting. How many murals have you done so far?
Um think with these 2 around 120 now. So,
120 murals.
indoor, outdoor, um, yeah.
Yeah. Do you see, okay, you're 32, I think you said.
Mhm.
Is there a point where you want to, like, can you keep doing murals until you're 70? Is there a point that you would rather switch back to canvas or some other medium?
Yeah.
Or do you see yourself as a muralist for the rest of your life?
Um, so I'm pretty sure I mean, I've seen, like, um, seniors paint, in their
Yeah, I
70s painting
imagine.
murals.
Yeah. Yeah.
I have a feeling I'll always probably be tempted. But, I did do some, like, deep reflecting this past winter, and someone said, to reach your goals, you have to start at the end of your life, and even though tomorrow's not
Mm,
promised, but at least to have a
yeah.
vision, start at the end of your life and then work your way here. How are you gonna achieve those?
Yeah. It's interesting. Yeah.
And I was trying to be realistic about painting murals because, like, the longevity of it, because it does tear down your body,
Yeah.
and
It's physically taxing, I
yeah,
imagine.
I'll
Yeah.
probably have a knee replacement, that's not funny,
Yeah.
but, one day, but,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
but so my goal, I think maybe 50. I know an artist, I won't say his name, but he's,
Sure.
52. I thought he was like 35. He's still painting these murals and,
Yeah.
um, but from then, I would like to teach. I think I want to
Oh, yeah.
transition, like take the next, what is that? Like the next 20 years, take everything I've learned on the streets, in my studio, and
Yeah.
whether that be like high school or possibly, like
Sure.
college,
Sure.
community
Sure.
college.
I imagine you'd be
Um,
a fantastic teacher at that
I would
point. I
love
mean,
that.
so much
Yeah.
experience, so many stories to tell.
I think that if I wasn't doing this full time, I would love to work with kids in that way.
Yeah.
Like, I just click. Just bringing out their joy makes me happy.
Yeah.
So I think then I'll transition to canvases. Teaching in canvases towards the end of my life.
Got
So
it. From the entrepreneurial side, what has made a difference for you? Did certain people or organizations help you get tighter as an entrepreneur,
yeah,
as you've gone along? And if so, can you tell us a little bit about that?
yeah, that's a great question.
Yeah.
I think that the company you keep is really important, and I think we mentioned earlier that maybe in the beginning I didn't have too many mentors around me,
Yeah.
but I think when you put yourself out there and you show people what you want to do, what you love, they also want to help you too. They want to, you know, help someone pursue their dream. And yeah, I have a few people that I could call on for business advice or just
That's great.
it's really important to bounce ideas off of other people. Another thing too, I have a group text with about 15 other muralists.
Oh, yeah.
We're all good friends, and if we need help with a contract or a certain type of paint, put it in there, and no gatekeeping. We just want everyone to succeed, and I think,
Right.
um,
What a great asset to have.
mhm. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I've had a lot of clients too that they kind of switched to after the mural, kind of gave me advice, or yeah, like I said, people just want to help you succeed when you put yourself out there.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
Hopefully, I don't. That's how I feel. Maybe
No, I'm
I'm an
sure that
optimistic.
you are an optimist. I can
Yeah.
tell it about you, but I'm sure that's actually accurate
Hmm.
as well.
Yeah.
So what advice would you give to, doesn't have to be an artist necessarily, but someone who was you 10 years ago or 7 years ago, say, working in that factory and feeling like you were maybe moving away from your passion?
I think the best advice is, because you can go to every single workshop, you can
Yeah.
attend all of these speaking events. I think the biggest thing, and I will hold true to, is nothing's going to happen overnight. You can't
Yeah.
be upset if your dreams don't come true in a year or two. Um, the biggest thing is like slow steps. As long as those little seeds are going to actively grow. So take where you're at, where you want to be. Have people you look up to, but stay on your own course.
Yeah.
Focus on your own work. Don't put yourself down if you think you're not good enough. Just
Mhm.
grow where you're at, and don't be intimidated if you think someone's better than you, because there's always going to be someone that's maybe a better,
Right. Theoretically, probably
theoretically,
true.
yeah, maybe that's not the
Yeah.
best way to say it,
Yeah.
but different levels. There's
No,
different
no, I
levels.
totally get it. Right.
Yeah,
It's easy to talk yourself out of something. It's
yeah,
like, oh, I'm never going to be as good as that person or whatever it might be.
yeah.
And you can be down on yourself.
And I have to tell myself
Yeah.
that sometimes too,
Yeah.
because you're never going to grow if you don't just focus on your own work.
Yeah.
So,
You do talk about working with young people.
oh yeah, yeah,
Did you want to talk a little bit more about that? You mentioned it in terms of maybe being a future teacher, but
yeah.
why is that important to you to work with young people?
I want to inspire someone in those age groups, because I kind of wish I had that too, maybe like in high school, if I had
Yeah.
someone come and speak about painting murals,
Yeah.
opening my eyes to, oh, like that's a career path I didn't
Yeah.
know, because they're
Yeah.
probably not pushing murals for a career. So
Probably not.
probably not, but you never know.
Yeah.
So
No, it's a good reminder that, when you're a kid, a middle school kid, high school kid, you think about what you know.
mhm,
And if you don't know something, it's really hard to think about it.
yeah,
So if you haven't been shown an example,
yeah.
or if you haven't had a role model in your life, how are you going to know?
hmm I'm giving a few talks to the kids at Wilson Elementary
Okay.
in May. So 3rd through 5th grade.
Okay.
So we're doing
Excellent.
2 30-minute sessions. I'm gonna bring the energy. I'm gonna try to be
Yeah.
hype and
Yeah.
have my PowerPoint and
Oh,
let them answer questions.
I bet the kids are gonna
So
love it because they don't. Yeah, it's a different story,
yeah.
and it's around art, and I think I see it with my own kids too. Like it's hard to envision a career in art
hmm
sometimes if you're a kid, especially if you haven't seen it, you haven't had a parent or a
Yeah.
sibling or aunt or uncle or somebody in your life.
The myth of the starving artist, which
Yes,
let's squash
yes,
that. Yeah,
yes,
'cause
exactly. The myth of the starving artist.
yeah.
Yeah. But I think you're exemplifying the creative entrepreneur,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah.
Who's making a living and doing what she's passionate about, doing what you're passionate about,
Yep.
right? I would say you're one of the people I was most excited about interviewing because I think you've married those passions of your creativity, but also you're a business person,
Mhm.
right? Because you got to balance the books at the end of the day.
Yeah.
You got to make a living.
Like
And
like a light switch sometimes.
yep,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Well, thanks for being on the podcast
Yeah,
with
thank you.
us.
Thank
This
you
was
so
great to
much.
have you here. Great to hear your story. Really excited to continue to see your success. I think I was probably also excited about you because I see your stuff.
Mhm.
You're more visible than most folks. You drive around town, you're like, oh, yep, 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 yep.
Mhm.
And I see the work that you've brought to town through Mural Mania
Yeah.
as well. So you've had a real impact on the community. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yep.
Could I give a quick shout out to
Oh, 100%.
the dates for the festival?
Yes, yes, yes,
Okay.
yes.
I'm
Please
not
do.
gonna put this is a little spoiler,
No,
but
please do.
the official dates are July 29th through August 2nd.
For Mural Mania
Yes.
this year.
Yep.
July 29th to August
2nd.
2nd.
Mhm.
Okay, excellent.
Yep.
And how can we participate in that?
So leading up to the event, we'll have more information like the month leading up. I'd say the biggest thing, if you'd like to, go on mural walks while the muralists are painting,
Nice.
we'll have printed out maps from DTSB that you can, all in walking distance.
Oh, that's great.
But yeah, the artists, if you have a bottle of water or granola bar, they'll love that.
They're
So
always ready for. Oh,
yeah,
that's nice to hear.
yeah,
That's good to hear. Okay, yeah,
yep,
excited about that. So five new muralists coming to town, or
maybe 7. We're working
maybe
on it. I don't know.
7.
We're working on
Okay.
it. I'll let you know. Yeah.
Okay,
So
okay.
yep.
I love it. More vibrancy for the community.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank you.
Yep.